The Chicago Bears fight song brings in our great teammate who's not even working today. But you text, you ask, and you receive. You can hear him every weekday except today because he's off. From 2 to 6 on our sister station, ESPN 1000 in Chicago, the home of the Chicago Bears. It is our good friend, Marc Silverman. Sylvie, good morning. How are you? Thanks for doing this.
Good morning, guys. You're allowed to play that? I'm shocked. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop when you played that.
Well, we own you. We still own you. Hey, here's how this all happened. We play trivia every day, and John and Madison played trivia. Didn't fare particularly well, I should point out.
Nice. He was very poor.
And then on his way out, he says, "Go Bears." And we were perplexed as to why, frankly, he listens to our show. He should listen to Carmen and Yurko and you guys if he's a Bears fan. But he grew up in Green Bay. He's a Bears fan. And it got us talking about how Bears fans are viewing the dawning of the Jordan Love era. And Tausch and I have differing opinions on what we think, based on the Bears fan friends that we have, what the Bears fan base is feeling.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you flat out, what is the vibe that you get from Bears fans about where the Chicago Bears are in relation to the new version of the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love at quarterback instead of a Hall of Famer?
Well, Waddle and I have always had this thing whenever we've done poll questions. You can never get anyone to agree on anything on a poll question. We tried to come up with a poll question one time, Wilde, and I think we even shared this with you. Do you like money? And we tried to get 100 people to agree on this. I think it all stemmed one time from, it was asinine that Greg Maddux didn't get 100% election into the Hall of Fame. And we're like, this is so stupid. How can't we get everyone to agree on one thing? So we were trying to come up with something where we can get everyone to agree upon it. My point of bringing that up is not all Bears fans are going to agree on how we feel about Jordan Love. Half of Bears fans, I think, are going to come at it where they feel like they've been beaten up, they're wounded, and they're going to go into this thinking they're going to get beaten up no matter what, and that the next guy is going to be like the last guy, that Favre and Rodgers were Hall of Famers, so the next guy is going to be a Hall of Famer. The other half is like the way I think, and look, until Love proves that he's Rodgers or Favre, I'm going to have fun with this. He was not on a good boat out on the lake with the Packer teammates, and he looked doughy to me. He had a bad video over in France when he I'm going to take shots until he starts throwing for 300 yards and starts owning the Bears. So I think he's going to stink, and I don't think Goody is any good. I think Goody handled this poorly. I think it was a bad draft pick. So I am going to make fun of Jordan Love until he proves to me. And analytics say it can't be. You cannot go 3 for 3. You're just not going to be great 3 times in a row. Lightning will not strike in the same play 3 times. That's for sure. So I am going to say he's going to suck.
But, Sylvie, that same analytical group would say you can't go 40 years and not have a franchise quarterback.
Right. You are right. You are right. House, and that's why your show is amazing, the two of you. I mean, look, to not have a 30-touchdown quarterback, to not have a 4,000-yard quarterback, even my Cubs won. I am left with one thing in my life as a Bears fan, and as one who has been trampled on, even Jim McMahon, I've always said, and I'm in the minority of this as a Bears fan, Jim McMahon was an overrated passer. he was hurt all the time as well. Look at Jim McMahon's numbers. I want Packer fans to do that. Like a lot of people think the Bears had a good quarterback in Jim McMahon. And when he was Favre's backup, he infamously, to Packers fans, showed up to the White House wearing his Bears jersey.
It was well done, yes.
Yes. Or Packer fans would say kind of a clown move. But his numbers are not very good because he couldn't stay healthy, and Sid Luckman is the last true franchise quarterback this team had. That was in the 40s. So yeah, you are right about the analytics. So the Cubs have won. I've seen the Bulls win, and I've seen the greatest athlete of all time. I've seen all the teams in town win. The Blackhawks just won 3 in a row. I've seen everything. The one thing, Tausch, I have not seen is a true franchise quarterback by today's standards in the NFL. I'm hoping that it's Justin Fields. He's got a little ways to go here with the arm, and you're right about exactly what you just said. I could admit that.
So, Sylvie, I think when we've had this discussion, Jason brings up that both sides are, kind of hopeful. I feel like Bears fans, their psyche could be just crushed into smithereens if Jordan Love comes down to Soldier Field week 1 and leads his Green Bay Packers on a fourth quarter drive to beat you, and you feel like Jordan Love can be the next guy. I think Bears fans might just crumble. Am I crazy to think that?
You will see me outside of Soldier Field in a fetal position sucking my thumb.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. If that, like Waddle wants to see a little pain from me. He knows I'm fragile. You played Tausch, Waddle played, and Wilde's the big journalist who doesn't see it through the fans' eyes.
It's true.
For me, even though I covered the Bears and even though I've been hosting with Waddle for 16 years, I still come at it from a fan's perspective. And I am fragile in this regard. So Waddle wants to see Jordan Love have a Rex Grossman September from 2006. And if you remember when the Bears went to the Super Bowl in 2006 and they lost to the Colts, Rex Grossman, a lot of people forgot, was the NFC Player of the Month. He tore it up in September. So just to screw with me and all of Bears fans, he wants Jordan Love to come out and have a great September just to have all this paranoia run through the streets of Chicago and then crash and burn like Rex Grossman did. But you're right. If he does that, and I'm going to be hosting Bears pre and post this year now that we have Bears games, you will see me. I will not get into my car after that first game against the Packers. I will be on Lakeshore Drive, like in the median, sucking my thumb in a fetal position. So, Wilde, you may have to pick me up and give me a ride home.
Well, I was thinking, and we're talking with Marc Silverman from Waddle and Sylvie. You can listen to them each weekday, 2 to 6 on our sister station, ESPN Chicago. Tausch always wanted to do a show with somebody who comes at it from the fan perspective. So maybe we should do like a show swap at some point during the season.
Swap?
And I'll do a show with Waddle, and you can do a show with Tausch. I want to present to you what my theory was, because Lord knows I don't trust Tausch to speak for me on this. Here is where I'm at. I do think that Packers fans and Bears fans, while at the opposite ends of the spectrum, are feeling the same things. There's hope, first of all. Bears fans are hoping that Jordan Love sucks. And Packers fans are filled with hope that he's really good. But it's also a function of they're both glad to see Aaron Rodgers gone. Bears fans are glad to see Aaron Rodgers gone because they're tired of him ripping their hearts out and yelling, "I own you, I still own you." And incredibly, Packers fans who don't know what it's like to go through what you have as a Bears fan are so glad he's gone that there is this excitement about him being gone and this hope that comes from that. My question is, I always bring up Trubisky on this, and I know you guys used to love to talk about the son of a Mitch Bowl when Watson and Mahomes would face each other. But there were times for you when you thought that Mitch Trubisky might be good. Were there not?
Well, he made a really nice throw. You know, like they were very conservative in 18. They were 12-4. Nagy sort of just had him manage the game, make throws when he needed to. There was a throw in that Eagles game before the double doink that he made to Allen Robinson to set up that game, what we thought was the game-winning drive, to set up that easy field goal attempt for Parkey. And, he led them on what we thought was the game-winning drive. So I'm like, even after the double doink, I'm like, okay, Trubisky led them on the potential game-winning drive. Now in 19, now that they've got hopefully a better kicker, it's something for him to build on. So while he's not Watson and while he's not Mahomes, maybe he can start to build on that, yes.
And so, I feel like that's how Packers fans are approaching this, and I'm trying to warn them that our friends like you guys got your hopes up at times, not sky-high hopes, but you got your hopes up, hey, we got the guy who's picked second overall and all this, and while there were moments where he teased you, ultimately it turned out that he wasn't good enough, and now you're hoping the same thing about Fields.
Can I give Packer fans a lesson? I want to
please
a little story time with Selvey, and this comes from a 2-team baseball town here in Chicago. I'm a Cubs fan, as you guys know, and when Theo came to town and he built the Cubs from the ground up, and I already told you I finally got my World Series, that Theo rebuilt it from the ground up, and in 15 the Cubs arrived early. They beat the Cardinals. It was like the most glorious thing. Cubs lost to the Mets in the NLCS that year. And then in 16, they were picked to win, and believe it or not, they actually won it. One of the most epic Game 7 World Series ever. The next year, they lost in the NLCS again to the Dodgers. And then after that, they were still a first-place team, but they never got back to the League Championship Series. And they made some bad moves, and they never won again. And Sox fans would always, because this is a 2-team town, would yell at us, Cubs fans, and yell at me, and they said, oh, yeah, Theo this, Theo that. He only got one. He only got one. And I'm like, only one? Like, they went to three straight NLCS championship series. Do you know how hard it is to win one? Kind of like what Favre did, kind of what Rodgers did. And then the Sox rebuilt here. And the Sox built themselves a really nice baseball team in 20. They arrived early. Well, now the Sox are 15 games under 500 after they rebuilt it. The Sox won a grand total of 2 playoff games. Not playoff series, playoff games. And that is what the rebuild really, the fruits of the labor paid off with. The point of the story is everyone bitched and moaned and made fun of only winning one, like Aaron Rodgers got. Like, it's so easy to win one. And no one appreciated the Cubs' sweet spot of 15, 16, 17. Sure, it was disappointing not to win more in 18 and 19. And sure, Theo made mistakes. And sure, Aaron Rodgers made mistakes. And sure, you can be pissed at Aaron Rodgers. But there's life on the other side that sucks. And Sox fans have realized this, that it's not as easy as just tearing it down and rebuilding, and then you're automatically going to win 1, 2, 3 World Series. You're going to see this, Packer fans, I'm telling you, that just because you've got another guy, it's not as easy to become one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, line him up and knock him down, and win multiple Super Bowls. What you had here It's something that we haven't had for decade after decade after decade. And I'm telling you from the other side, not as a hater, I want to become what you guys had. And you don't understand how special what you just had for the last 40 years with Favre and Rodgers.
Sylvie, I look forward to seeing you at the opener. I do not look forward to seeing you in the middle of Lakeshore Drive sucking
Yes,
your
you
thumb
do.
in the fetal position. No, I don't. I want
Yes,
you to
you
stay
do.
safe. Plus, I don't want to have to do the Bears postgame show because that's not my area of expertise. We love you, buddy. Thanks for making time for us. You're the best.
All right. See you guys.
I have had that conversation
Jason, what's more
with him
likely?
before.
What's more likely to have happen? The Bears go, in essence, 80 years without having a franchise quarterback, or the Packers running it 3 straight back to have Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Well, wait a minute. I think the Bears' run is going to end. I don't know if I feel as good about Justin Fields as I would like to if I was going to make that prediction, if that's fair. I don't believe they're going to get. I've heard you say that Jordan Love, if he outperforms expectations, could be a Pro Bowl quarterback. Mm-hmm. But all of our conversations about the quarterback, the drinking the sand and the mirage and the oasis in the desert, I think Packers fans are going to experience it. I think Jordan Love is going to be okay and nothing more than okay, and that's not enough because Brian Gutekunst repeatedly says we're chasing Super Bowl championships here. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to be the quarterback for the next 2 years, and then somebody else is going to be the quarterback. That's what I think is going to happen. And so I don't think either one of those things is happening because I think sooner or later the law of averages would tell you
No. I'm saying what was more unlikely to happen? The fact, let's say Jordan Love is good, and he is
that's
on a
way
great
more.
trajectory.
Look, people can screw
Then
up enough.
80 years of not having one franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I mean,
I
first
don't know,
of all,
Jim.
So Jay Cutler does not qualify?
No.
I mean, he wasn't a great franchise quarterback. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but lots of teams have had starting quarterbacks who had the job for quite a while and went to some playoff games.
Jason,
and weren't
I can't
Super
think
Bowl
of
or
another
Hall of Fame
franchise that has went 80 years without having a Hall of Fame quarterback. Name me one.
I will do some fact-checking on that as we get
80
ready.
80 years, Jason. 80.
Yeah, I guess. Let me do some digging on that. Because there has to be other
keep
teams.
digging. I don't think you're going to find anything.
The greatest quarterback in each NFL team's history. I'll be curious to see if there's.
That sounds like something Jesse and I will have to delve into next week because I think our clock management is.
I appreciate you saying
very frustrating.
Mo Nelly is next. It's Wilde Tausch.